Protists. Protists are a very diverse kingdom of organisms that do not fit neatly into any other kingdoms. They are not animals, nor plants, nor fungus. However, they are eukaryotic organisms. Some protists are unicellular and free-living, while some species live in colonies and others are multicellular. They have typical eukaryotic cell structure, including internal membranes, a nucleus that's surrounded by a nuclear envelope, and organelles such as mitochondria and chloroplasts. Protists are generally organized by their lifestyle. Animal-like protists are called protozoans and are heterotrophs that eat food. Plant-like protists, called algae, are autotrophs and they make their own food by photosynthesis like plants. And then there are fungus-like protists, which are also heterotrophs but mostly feed on decaying organic matter. Now this table shares characteristics of protozoans or animal-like protists. Protozoans lack a cell wall and inhabit most aquatic environments, including the tiniest drop of water on plants and soil. Now, some protozoans live in body fluids of hosts even. Now, the way protozoans can be categorized is by how they move and how they live. Protozoans that move by means of one or more flagella are called zooflagellates. Most species of zooflagellates are free-living, and some are known to be parasites. An example of a parasitic zooflagellate is Giardia, and this infects the human intestine and can cause abdominal cramps and severe diarrhea. Many times people become infected with Giardia when they go on a hike or if they're camping, and they take a drink from what may look like a clean stream or a clean river, but has unfortunately been contaminated with feces from infected animals. Now, another group of protozoans that move and feed by forming pseudopods include amoebas. Amoebas can take almost any shape as they creep over surfaces, and they use their pseudopodia, which is kind of like this bulging area of them, to surround prey and engulf their prey. Now, ciliates are a diverse group of protozoans named for their use of hair-like projections called cilia, which help them move and feed. Ciliates such as paramecium and stentor are found in freshwater environments. However, paramecium use their cilia to actually move around and move from place to place, while stentor uses their cilia to generate whirlpool-like currents that draw food into the cell. A fourth group of protozoans are called apicomplexians. And apicomplexians are parasites that are not able to have active mobility. A well-known apicomplexian is Plasmodium, and this is an organism that causes malaria in humans. Apicomplexians have very unique lifestyles that involve two or more different host species. So for example, the one that causes malaria, part of the life cycle of this Plasmodium occurs in the mosquito, while the other part occurs in the humans. This table shows algae, or the plant-like protists that contain chloroplasts that can make their own food. Many algae are unicellular, while some live in colonies, and then there are others that are multicellular. Biologists classify these protists by their differences in cell wall and the types of photosynthetic pigments in their structures. Euglenoids are a group of single-celled photosynthetic protists that possess one or two flagella and lack cell walls. A common euglenoid is Euglena, and it's one of the most common inhabitants of pond water. Dinoflagellates are unicellular, mostly photosynthetic producers, have a cell wall made of cellulose and two flagella. Found in both freshwater and saltwater environments, dinoflagellates make up much of the plankton, which are microscopic organisms that drift or swim near the surface of bodies of water. Phytoplankton form the base of the food chain for most aquatic organisms. Now, although very small, some populations can undergo population explosions, causing coastal marine waters to turn pinkish orange in a phenomenon called red tide. Toxins are produced by these red tides, and the algae can kill enormous amounts of fish and can also be harmful and even deadly to humans who eat shellfish that have ingested the toxins. Some dinoflagellates have even been known to have the function of bioluminescence. This can be seen when waves crash or boats stir up water containing these populations of these bioluminescent dinoflagellates, at night. Diatoms are another group of unicellular algae and have cell walls that contain silica, which is the same mineral that makes up glass. Now, when diatoms die, they sink to the ocean floor, and because of their glassy wall, they do not decompose, and they actually accumulate and become fossilized. Enormous numbers of fossilized diatoms make up thick sediments known as diatomaceous earth, which is used as a grinding and polishing agent, such as those found in toothpastes. Now, most of the protists described so far are unicellular and microscopic. However, there are much larger multicellular marine algae known as seaweed. Some of these organisms can be as large as most plants and have specialized structures that actually resemble roots and stems and even the leaves of plants. Seaweeds are classified into 3 different groups depending on what pigments they contain: brown algae, red algae, and green algae. Some large seaweeds are commonly called kelp, and kelp forests provide food and shelter for many species of fish. Despite their name, slime molds and watery molds are not true molds. They are just fungus-like protists that decompose dead organic material. Like fungi, fungus-like protists are heterotrophs, have cell walls, and use spores to reproduce. Slime molds are often brilliantly colored and live on forest floors and other moist, shady places. They begin their life cycle as tiny little cells and then creep around and eventually grow larger and join others to form a giant jelly-like mass. And this mass starts oozing along as a single unit, decomposing along the forest floor. Now, water molds and downy mildews live in water or moist places. They often grow as tiny threads that look like a fuzz. Many times they attack food crops such as grapes and potatoes. A species of water mold made history when it destroyed the Irish potato crops in 1845 and 1846, causing a famine where more than 1 million people in Ireland died and forced many people to leave their country.